Okay, awesome. So what is leadership in the classical sense? Like the way that we all understand it originally, not the way he was talking about it.
Telling people what to do.
Good at public speaking or extroversion. Is that word?
Public speaking. We tell others what to do.
Inspirational.
Charismatic.
They have a lot of influence over people.
Sorry, my handwriting's a mess.
They have experience.
They're extrovert. It's an appointed position.
Okay, that's good. What is leadership as this guy just defined it?
It's personal.
Was that Mark that sucks, or is it this one?
I think
It
the other
both
one's
suck.
better. I hope it is.
That is better. Leadership's personal.
A day-to-day opportunity. Oh, sorry. A day-to-day opportunity.
Day. What were you going to say?
Informal or natural.
Informal.
Simple.
Small acts.
I don't know how to sum this up, but everything that's not on that list. Like, you don't have to be all those things to be a leader.
Classical.
I think it's just also just being you, because everyone has unique characteristics. I'm trying to condense that, but just being yourself.
And like with that is something we already do.
Natural, yeah. This is maybe okay. Years and years ago, somebody told me something that's like dramatically changed my life, and I feel like lots of times we say something's changed my life, but this really changed my life. They said, never let a kind thing go unsaid. And I feel like there are so many times, like this guy said, where other people influence our lives, or other people, I don't know, they just like look good, or they have a good smile. There's so many good things to find about other people, and it's so easy to not bring up those good things ever. And why would we ever hold back kindness? What makes us not say those kind of things?
Because it's vulnerable, and it's sometimes awkward to have like vulnerable conversations with other people.
It's vulnerable.
I think like at BYU, we get worried we're gonna be like hitting on them or something. Like, hey, I really like your shirt. And the boy will be like, I'm married.
Yeah.
So am I. Like, you know, I think like we're worried that our like kindness will be taken the wrong way
Yeah,
and make people uncomfortable.
and that does happen sometimes at BYU, but I think people are still flattered when we do it, so.
Two things. One is laziness. Like, sometimes you're like, oh, I could do this for that person, but like I really don't want to. Like, and then another thing is, someone also once told me, like, never suppress a generous thought, which is kind of the same thing. And so I started doing that all the time, and then sometimes people just thought I was being insincere, like saying like, oh, I like this, oh, I like this, and then they thought I was just like throwing out compliments.
Mhm.
So sometimes I'm afraid that people will think I'm being insincere.
Okay. It's like fear, vulnerability, things like that. Let me share an experience from my own life briefly that where people didn't hold back kindness, and it changed my life for good. When I was a kid, I didn't really consider myself a very happy person. I had lots of health problems and lots of pain, and I was like kind of miserable as a child, honestly. But for some reason, lots of people would come up to me and tell me that I was happy all the time. I didn't think I was, but I heard this over and over that I was a happy person. And eventually, I started believing it, and it became part of who I am. And I identify as a happy person, and that has like really changed my life. And it's because I got lots of small compliments from lots of people over years. And so there are times in our lives when we might have to like step up and take a classical leadership role where we're like put into a position and we like guide others in what they're supposed to do and things like that. But not only can we be a lollipop leader, we should be a lollipop leader on a day-to-day basis. And so, real quick, I want everybody to just take 2 minutes and find somebody you don't know yet and get to know them. Ready, set, go.
What's up?
So you're a high school teacher.
I am technically still a student too.
Jessica, I think he has some people.
Are you like joint teaching?
No,
There it is.
School?
Yeah, Tavika, right? So I'm Fritz.
Fritz.
Yeah, ordinate. You can call me.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Yeah. Tuke, right?
Yeah.
Tuke
Oh,
and Fritz.
your name is hard.
Kavika.
Kavika.
Yeah, no,
That's so cool.
That's okay. You're not the first Kavika I've met. Yeah.
Does it mean something in your life? Yeah, it's a pizza. Oh, I saw that. Because I had to
Yeah. The structure is actually I don't know. But, she actually works in the hospital here.
All right. Sorry that was short, but we're gonna keep going.
Awesome. Stick around. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
I'll go back to your seats when you're done. All right, cool. So at Kesem, we have this big emphasis that we're just like a big family. And honestly, I really feel that way. The people at Kesem, not only the campers, but the counselors are just the most incredible people I've ever met in my life. And that's why I'm here, honestly. And so we just want to make sure everybody has opportunity to get to know each other and don't ever feel like, I don't know, nervous to get to meet people in Kesem because we are just a family. And so real quick, we're going to talk about two things. I'm going to leave that up there. What is a clique? We're just going to define that real quick. What do you think, Polly?
I don't think it's like, sometimes people think of a clique as just a group of friends, which is not a bad thing. A group of friends is a good thing. But I think it's a clique when that group excludes other people, or maybe they're not purposely excluding them, but they're not really inviting to other people. So then others feel like they're excluded.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Perfect. You want to add anything to that? Retweet. Thank you. All right. So they're exclusive. Now, what is a friends group, and how is that different from a clique?
But like a clique, it's like you're kind of like restricting yourself just to that group because it's what's comfortable. Whereas if it's a friend group, it's a lot more like come and go. Like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I have a cousin and she is one of my best friends and she has a lot of friends. She's like a very bubbly like person, very welcoming. And she definitely has like her groups of friends, but she is always like inviting people to like join that group of friends. Like it's never like she's always, if we're going out to do something, she's always inviting like 6 other people who I would never even thought to invite. So I think that's
awesome.
Great way to be.
It's open and inclusive, and people feel welcome to join your group of friends. And so what's something we can do, not just at Kesem, but in our lives, to proactively avoid cliques? Because I think it is very easy to just get with the people you already know and stay with the people you already know.
I think looking out for anyone who seems alone or left out.
And I think just meeting, I don't know, one person, new person every single day or once a week, it's not very typical. I think just the society is like, oh, just keep to the people you already know. But as you meet more people, you're exposed to a lot more different experiences and histories. So.
The other thing I'd say, so I don't think cliques start out as like people wanting to be exclusive, and I think Bolly makes a good point too. That I think you have to be active, and like, because it's very easy. Because I'll be honest, especially in like a group, like a big group like this, there are people in here that I know better than others that I've known for several years, and if you're not careful, I think we form cliques with no bad intentions whatsoever, and yet there are negative externalities that we see. Because people say, okay, well, maybe I'm not going to be at the next meeting, or maybe I'm not going to be part of this thing next time because I don't feel like I know someone as well. And it's not a bad thing to know people well, but you have to be actively looking and kind of bringing people in.
So when we all did interviews, I don't know if you remember, we had a question about diversity, equity, and inclusion. I just want to point out something about those. Diversity is a fact. You can't really change that. Everybody is different. We come from different backgrounds. But inclusion is a choice. It's an option that we can make to include other people, not just in spite of that we're diverse, but because we're diverse, we can include everyone. And that's what makes KESM so special, I think. We're going to spend 2 more minutes real quick getting to know somebody else that you haven't met yet. Ready, set, go.
Yeah. Wait, sorry, were you going to?
Yeah.
I was going to ask if
Can I get to know
you
you?
because you spoke, but
I don't know you, so you got to talk to me.
Okay.
So I'm Fritz.
Fritz?
Fritz is my cat.
How did you get that?
Okay, so when I was about 8 years old, my family, we moved to Germany. And my name is Nathan. That's what I kind of went by. I go by Nate or Nathan, but if you know any German people, it's like a difficult name for them to say. Yeah, because the TH sound is it's not very common in non-English languages. And so like, sometimes it comes out as like an S sound or like an F. Yeah. And it was just like difficult for a lot of them. So, and I was in 3rd grade, I think. So in my 3rd grade class, they were just like, that's too hard. Some of them still try, but some were like, that's too hard. So they would just call me different, like German, like Fritz.
Wait, well, what does Fritz like kind of mean?
It's kind of just like a super stereotypical German name.
Oh, it's an actual name in German. Like
Yeah. It's not a word, yeah, it's a name, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's really cool. I like it. It makes me think of that song. Actually, okay, this is actually not the same, but it made me think of it. They're like putting on the lights. You know that song?
I think I know what you're talking about. Wait, what song is it?
It's like the guy that has a top hat and like a cannon. He's like spinning it. He's like putting on the lights. I'll have to show it to you.
You'll have to show me something.
It doesn't actually say Fritz, but it says Fritz,
But it
and they
sounds-
sounded similar. So I just when I hear your name.
Yeah, well, you have to show it to me. That'd be cool.
Why did you guys live in Germany?
I don't really know still. My dad works for Intel, and he was in Switzerland on a mission when he was younger. So he kind of spoke German already, and German's like a big tech place sometimes too, and so
Yeah.
they were kind of just like, do you want to move? And he was like, like we were like upset about it, but it was good.
How long did you live there?
About 2 years, I think. So I've been here for the last 15 years, so it's been a while. But like, yeah, it was a fun time.
You kind of have an accent.
And like, what way? Like, what does it sound like?
It actually kind of sounds like an Eastern.
East Coast?
Yeah.
That's you're like the second person to tell me that in the last few days.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Sometimes the very best leaders in this life aren't even people who are trying to be leaders. They're just people who are trying to be friends. And they change other people's lives because they do that. And being someone's friend and changing their life as a lollipop leader is more than what most classical leaders can claim that they do. It's a really important role that we need to all step into and fulfill in our daily lives. And if we're not sure where to start, the easiest thing we can do to start being a lollipop leader, learn people's names. And if you ask somebody's name and you forget it, don't be afraid to ask it again. Because if you just never ask, it's going to be harder to keep being friends with them. Learn people's names, and then be kind to everyone. And then we'll all start being lollipop leaders, and we'll become an even tighter Kesem family. And yeah, I think that's everything. I feel like I should say the name Jesus Christ, amen. But I'm not going to say that. Thank you.
All right, guys. I think we have a little break, and you all are going to switch rooms with the next people. But